This video is for you if you're on your healing journey and you are feeling a lot of grief or sadness, frustration or anger, either at yourself or towards others. When we eventually do the healing work and start to make space for what happened and for what we have been suppressing and repressing, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions around those events or that event, we expect that we're going to feel some relief, but actually often what comes up is a lot of grief. And this is grief for so many things. Often you might feel grief for who you were before the events happened, who you thought that you were going to be, for what you've lost, for what you've had to go through, for who wasn't there for you. There are lots of different ways for us to experience grief that is different to the grief that we have when we're mourning the loss of somebody that has left us. But we often feel that when we're going through this grief, this sadness, that's not necessarily where we should be, and that we're doing something wrong. But actually, these were the feelings that were being suppressed and repressed. And now that you are feeling them, that is you processing and integrating what happened as you are beginning to heal yourself, your nervous system, your heart, your soul, your mind. And it is totally normal. And I've mentioned anger, but anger is also another emotion that often comes up after we've moved through grief and sadness. And this is also very, very healthy if you are experiencing anger. And there are ways for you to process grief, sadness, anger, and perhaps even some regret as well. I know that on my own healing journey, I felt a lot of regret for the decisions that I made when I was in a survival state. And obviously, hindsight is a wonderful thing to have, but now living with the consequences and healing from the consequences of those decisions, I felt grief over that. I felt regret over that. And the way to help yourself to continue on your healing journey is, even though you can feel regret about the decisions that you made or feel angry about what happened and all of this grief and sadness, it's the most important thing is to maintain acknowledgement of giving yourself self-compassion, being compassionate for what you've been through, being compassionate for those decisions that you've made, being compassionate for not being further along in your healing journey, being compassionate for the amount of sensations and emotions and thoughts and feelings that you might be having, just being compassionate for yourself, the same way that you would do for anybody else that was going through a difficult time and recovering from traumatic experiences. The healing work is not just about holding space for that, but it's also about being compassionate towards yourself in that space holding period. And when I was on my healing journey, I'm still on my healing journey. I'm not in the weeds of it as much anymore. I've definitely done a huge amount of work. But for me, when I was going through the thick of it, it was the self-compassion, and just the acceptance of what I'd been through and the time that I'd lost and the harm that had been caused and all the opportunities that I'd missed because of it, and just you know, really believing that I did the best that I could with the information that I had at the time and the capacity that I had at the time. And if you are someone that is going through this at the moment, please just ensure that you are taking very good care of yourself and that you have support, because it's not easy. Those emotions aren't easy to process and integrate. They can feel incredibly unpleasant, and we can have a lot of somatic sensations that go with that. Our nervous system can respond, and we can feel waves of being in an anxious state, or feeling more in a depressed state, feeling hypervigilant or on edge, or just having just general aches and pains from holding on and suppressing what we've been holding on to for such a long time, that tension that has been in the body. So a few things that you can do is you can move your body how you feel. So just taking 5 minutes or so to really tune in to what you are feeling and allow yourself to move your body in a way that feels nourishing to you. Just trying to really connect what emotions you're feeling with, what thoughts you're thinking with, what sensations are present in the body, but also like what you need to give yourself in order for it to be processed and integrated. And this takes practice. This is a lot of practice. This is what I teach people when I do one-to-one work with them. So helping them build their interoception and understanding how to connect with what they are feeling inside and what their body is asking them for. But this is something that really, really helped me, as well as having somebody else that was a trauma trained practitioner to share what I was going through and also what I was feeling in my body. Journaling, along with using EFT tapping, so you can write down how you feel and also read it back to yourself whilst tapping and breathing on the different acupressure points. Lots of orienting, allowing your body to catch up with where you are right now and recognizing that you're no longer in that past state. Holding yourself, doing gentle, coherent or heart breathing, putting your hand on your heart and hugging and holding yourself and swaying from side to side. These are really nourishing ways, and I've just noticed I'm touching my ears here as I reflect on my own experience. So yeah, just providing we have our vagus nerve, which is a critical nerve in our nervous system here, is connected to our ears and the side of our throat. And so self-massage. I also had a lot of body work, and I did a lot of massage. So I went for weekly massages. I mean, I live in Vietnam, so I'm very lucky that it is affordable for me to do that here. But self-massage can also help with that. And I focused on my nutrition, making sure that I was nourishing myself really well and cutting out things that or reducing things that weren't as good for me. So caffeine, alcohol, excess sugar, etc. Daily sunlight, long walks. There's a lot. There's a lot that's involved with healing. Just in my experience, because it really is this full holistic framework. Talking to friends and family and sharing with them what they're going through, people that you can trust, as well as a therapist or a practitioner that you can work with as well. So I hope that this has provided some insight and some information and maybe some inspiration about how you can support yourself if you are going through a period of trauma healing at the moment, where you're now in that process of experiencing a lot of grief and sadness. one caveat to that is if you're in the process of experiencing anger, that requires a different somatic healing approach. So learning how to express physically, somatically express and process anger in your body requires much more activated actions and exercises. However, we don't suggest that you do this until you have built capacity, until you have restored safety into the nervous system. So while there is a place for us to physically safely express our anger and our frustration, we need to make sure that we are extremely grounded and well-resourced and have the capacity to do that. Otherwise, it can cause further dysregulation. But I don't want to give you the impression that all healing looks like just being loving and calming and kind to ourselves. It includes that, and it can include the other work as well. I've done a lot of both of those, and I do that with my clients. So my name is Donna Louise. If you have found this video interesting, if you've got any comments or questions relating to your own healing journey that I can help with, please go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'd love to read them and see if I can get back to you with my suggestions or thoughts or insights and even my own experiences, if it relates. I am a trauma-trained somatic practitioner, a functional breathwork coach, a clinical EFT practitioner, and a trainee counselor. And I help people to get out of survival mode, restore their nervous system, and reconnect with themselves again. It's been a pleasure to share this with you today. If you've enjoyed it, come back and watch another video soon. Thank you. Take care.